Okay, we're looking at a game from Preptest 31, game number 2, and this is a famous game. This is purportedly the hardest logic game of all time, but not only that, this game is featured in the movie Legally Blonde while Elle Woods is prepping for her own LSAT, and she's struggling mightily with this game. It's a game of selection, and you'll note that the bulk of the rules here are formal logic. Let's take a look at what we got here. We have 10 types of CD. We have new of used of both jazz, opera, pop, rap, and soul, 10 types. It does not tell us exactly how many of these CDs are going to be on sale or off sale. Maybe all 10 are on sale, maybe all 10 are off sale. That's what makes it a game of selection. Your first rule is concrete, though. Used pop is on sale, new opera is not. I've chosen to go with UP and NO, UP for used pop, NO for new opera, just because if I write P subscript U instead, like that, P subscript for used pop, in my head I'm going to be looking at PU and turning it back into UP anyway. Keep it clear for yourself. So used pop is on sale, new opera is not. And then if we have both new pop and used pop, then we have both types of soul, also new soul and used soul. Of course, there'll be a contrapositive to that. If there is no new soul or there is no used soul, then there will be no new pop or no used pop. And to or to and we negate both sides. We keep going. If we have both types of jazz, then we have no rap, no new rap, and no used rap. So if we have new rap or used rap, then we'll have no new jazz or no new used jazz. One of the jazzes will be gone. If we have no jazz whatsoever, then we have new pop. So if we have no new pop, then we're going to have new jazz or used jazz. We'll have at least one of those jazzes. We don't know which. And then finally, if we have either type of rap, new rap or used rap, then we have no soul, no used soul, and no new soul, which means if we have used soul or new soul, then there is no new rap and there is no used rap. And or, negate again. The complexity of this game lies in the fact that each of these formal logic statements basically has two things leading to two other things. Some of them are connected by and, some of them are connected by ors. They're very long formal logic statements, but you have to write them out. You also have an interesting opportunity here on a game of selection. Most game of selection do not contain deductions, but take a look. You have one rule, this first rule, a concrete rule that tells you used pop is on sale. And if used pop is on sale, that means it can never be off sale. And if you take a look at the contrapositive for Rule 2, it tells you that if you have either type of soul off sale, then one of the pops is off sale, but used pop can't be the one that's off sale because Rule number 1 tells you it's always on sale. So this part of the contrapositive you can just get rid of. This has nothing whatsoever to do with it. If we have one of the souls off sale, then we're going to have no new pop, for sure. Also take a look at the fact that we have a lot of rules about pop, about jazz, about rap, about soul, but we have very few rules about opera. Opera, the only one you have is that new opera is not on sale, but you have no rules whatsoever about used opera, nor do you have any rules that say that opera causes anything. Opera in this game is a great floater. What's opera doing? We don't know. Let's go and do some questions. Question 7, however, is just an acceptability question. So we're going to go through them one at a time, eliminate on the basis of the rules. Hopefully have the game open in front of you. But we take a look at the first one, used pop is on sale. We take a look at all the answer choices, and guess what? They all mention used pop on sale. New opera is not on sale, so you want to see if any of them list new opera. A doesn't list new opera. B doesn't, C doesn't, D doesn't, E doesn't. So rule number 1 eliminates nothing. But rule number 2, if we have both types of pop, we need both types of soul. And we're taking a look for answer choices that have both types of pop. And answer choice D contains both new pop and used pop, in which case we'd have to have both souls, but it only mentions one of the souls. That new soul is on sale, D must be gone. We go on to the next rule. If we have both types of jazz, well, answer choice A has both types of jazz. It has new jazz and used jazz. That means you can't have any rap, but unfortunately answer choice A does have rap. It has new rap. A is gone. We take a look at the others just to check. B doesn't have both types of jazz. C doesn't have both types of jazz. E doesn't have both types of jazz. We're on to rule number 4. If both jazzes are gone, so we're looking for between B, C, and E answer choices where jazz is gone, then we have to have new pop. Answer choice B does mention jazz, but answer choice C has no jazz mentioned, and since there's no jazz mentioned in C, you would have to have new pop. New pop is not listed. C must be gone. On to the final rule. If you have either type of rap, then you can't have any soul. Answer choice B does in fact have used rap, and it has new soul. You can't have rap and soul together. B must be gone. Answer by answer by answer. You must end up on answer choice E, nice and efficient. Pretty good. Let's get rid of this. And remember, on test day, you'd have so much more room than this. This is just the fact that these rules are rather lengthy, and we just have this little side place here on the whiteboard. But let's take a look at number 8. If, and if means new sketch. If new soul is not on sale, which the following must be true. So we need to make some kind of new sketch, and what it's going to look like is basically you'll have new and used for both types of CD. Add in the things you know, that used pop is always on sale. So used pop, you can circle it, it's always going to be circled. That new opera is always not on sale, it'll always be crossed out. And then we have this new information, if new soul is not on sale. So new soul is off sale, we cross it out. We're looking for something that must be true. So we take soul off sale and we take a look at rule number 2. If we have no soul or no new soul, then we also have no new pop. So we cross out new pop. What happens when there's no new pop? Well, rule 4 says if there's no new pop, then there's new jazz or used jazz, but it doesn't tell us which one. Is it going to be new jazz or is it going to be used jazz? But notice this question is a must be true, which means if rule number 4 is giving us an alternative that if we don't have new pop, then we either have new jazz or used jazz, just underlining it there, and we don't know which one it is, then we must already have the answer on the page. Take a look through your answer choices. New rap is not on sale. We don't know about rap. Rap isn't circled or crossed out. New rap is on sale. Again, we know nothing about it. Used opera, we knew nothing about used opera. At least one type of jazz is not on sale. Again, jazz is untouched, but at least one type of pop is not on sale, and that must be true because new pop is not on sale. And the answer number 8 has to be E. It's right there in our sketch. We keep going. So, number 9. If, so we make a new sketch for this, new, used, J-O-P-R and S, J-O-P-R and S. If both types of jazz are on sale, so again we add in the things we know from the beginning. Used pop is on sale and needs to be circled. Let's make that red. There we go. And new opera is not on sale. And here's telling us if both types of jazz are on sale. So we circle both types of jazz. And it says, which of the following is the minimum number of types of new CDs that could be included? So the minimum number of types of new CDs. So we see if anything happens when we have both jazz. If we have both jazz, rule number 3 says we have no rap whatsoever. We take the rap off sale. Does anything happen when both raps are off sale? Well, you can look through your rules, but you have no rules about there not being any rap. So you're at a dead end, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the minimum number of types of new CDs. Right now, you have one new CD circled, 2 of them are crossed out. Your job is to see if you can eliminate those other new CDs and have no negative repercussions. So, for instance, if we took new pop off sale, if we crossed out new pop, what happens when there's no new pop? Well, according to the contrapositive of Rule 4, if there's no new pop, we either have new jazz or used jazz, and since we already have both of them, that's fine. And would anything bad happen if we took soul off sale? Well, if we took soul off sale, Rule number 2 says no new soul means no new pop. New pop is already crossed out. There's no negative repercussions. What's the minimum number of types of new CD that could be included? A, 1, and we are done. On we go to question number 10. And here we're looking for something that cannot be true. Now, this is different than the questions we've done so far. It is not a if question. It is just a which the following can't be true. And normally questions asking which the following can't be true don't require a new sketch. It would be based upon your deductions from your master sketch. But games of selection very rarely have deductions based upon the master sketch. So if there are no deductions, then you very may well have to test the answer choices for a question like this. So it could be a laborious question. But that being said, if we're looking for something that must be false, take a look at A. Neither type of opera and neither type of rap is on sale. There's no point in testing A, because A is about the interaction of opera and rap, and how many rules do you have here about opera and rap? Remember, opera is our floater. Opera can't affect rap. And B says neither type of jazz and neither type of opera is on sale. Well, that could be true, because opera can't affect jazz. And C says neither type of opera and neither type of soul is on sale. And that could be true because, again, opera can't affect any of the other types of CDs. But then you get down to D, neither type of jazz and neither type of soul is on sale. We do have rules about jazz. We do have rules against soul. So we do need to test 10D. Again, new used, jazz, opera, pop, rap, soul, jazz, opera, pop, rap, soul. We add in the things we already know. New opera is not on sale. Used pop is on sale. D is saying neither type of jazz, so both jazzes are gone, and neither type of soul, both souls are gone. So what happens when we have no jazz whatsoever? Well, rule number 4 says if there's no jazz, then we must have new pop. And what happens when we have no soul? Well, rule number 2, the contrapositive, says if we don't have soul, then we can't have new pop. And take a look. We have both crossed out new pop and circled new pop. That can't happen. And since we're looking for something that must be false, question 10 must be D. Pretty good. On we go to 11. And 11 says if neither type of jazz is on sale, then each of the following must be true except. So if we're looking for a must be true except, we're looking for a could be. And we could definitely do this question, but if we're looking for a great could be, answer choice A is about used opera being on sale. How many rules do you have about used opera? None. So A could be true and you're done. Question 12. If new soul is the only type of new CD on sale. So again, we add in these new details. Jazz, opera, pop, rap, soul. Jazz, opera, pop, rap, and soul. We add in the detail that used pop is on sale, new opera is not. And now new soul is the only type of new CD on sale. So new soul is the only type of new CD on sale. That means all the other new CDs are off sale. And we take a look what happens. Well, what happens when we have new soul? Well, new soul, rule number 5, if we have new soul, then we have no rap whatsoever. So we cross out that rap. What happens when we have no new pop? Well, if we have no new pop, rule number 4 says if we have no new pop, then we either have new jazz or used jazz. Take a look. We've already crossed out new jazz, which means we must have used jazz. What happens when there's no opera? Nothing. We have no rules about opera. What happens when there's no new jazz? We don't have a rule about just no new jazz. What happens when we have used jazz on sale? We have no rules about that. And so we're taking a look for something that can't be true. We've taken it as far as we really can here. We take a look at A, used jazz is not on sale. Well, that can't be true because used jazz is on sale, and the answer is A. We're done. And finally, on to question 13. we make the new used. Last question finally on this, the purported hardest logic game of all time. I think you see if you just write everything down, it's not so bad. Remember, we add in used pop. That's always on sale. New opera is never on sale. All right, that's pretty good. If exactly 4 of the 5 types of used CDs are the only CDs on sale. So exactly 4 of the 5 types of used CDs are the only ones on sale, which is following could be true. Well, if the only CDs that are on sale are used CDs, that means all the new CDs are off sale. So we cross out all those things and see what happens. What happens when we have no new jazz? We don't have any rules about having no new jazz. Just about what happens when you have no new jazz and no used jazz, but we don't know about that. What happens when there's no new opera? We don't know. What happens when there's no new pop? We do know that. If there's no new pop, there is new jazz or used jazz. Since we can't have new jazz, we know that used jazz has to be one of the 4 types of CD that are on sale. What happens when there's no rap? We have no rules. What happens when there's no soul? There's no new pop, which is already crossed out, which means now we're down to these remaining 3. We have to choose 2 of these 3 because it says 4 of them. And notice Rule 5. Rule 5 basically says you cannot have rap and soul together. So if we're going to get 4, we're going to have to choose used opera and then either rap or soul. We're looking for something that could be true. We're looking for something about rap or soul, used rap or used soul. Answer choice C, used rap is not on sale. That could be true. And we are done with this game. All right, hope it helped.